Here's something crazy I found out today. I just found out that we are roughly halfway done with this season. It came out over a month ago. It's hard to believe. It feels like time is absolutely flying. But with essentially the first half of this season complete in the books, we turn our attention to the second half and we wonder what's actually going to happen next. Our next major clue will come sometime next week when the 20.30 content update officially drops. Today, we're going to take a look at even more of your very comments as we rapidly barrel towards the very first live event of this chapter. Our first comment today comes from none other than Joan of Arc. Is that the real one? Probably not. She's literally been dead since before Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Since the Seven are said to surround the IO in the center of the map, it is close to the Cattus excavation site. What if this is their hidden weapon? And to add on to this, they could possibly call up Singularity again, as Donald has stated she's still relevant, to take down Cattus once again, and then it is revealed that she was Paradigm all along. So yes, as we've talked about multiple times lately, the Seven is going to push the IO back roughly to this area by the end of the season. It is somewhat nearby to the Cattus excavation site, and there have been leaks in the files about the Cattus returning at some point in the future. There have even been subtle references like the flashback in the Zero War trailer. What if this Doomsday device works in conjunction with a reanimated Cattus? If this is true, it would kind of explain why the IO are giving up ground and making it seem like the Seven are kind of cakewalking through this battle. That would be because they want them to fall back and then get close to the reanimated Cattus so it can inflict as much damage as possible. And here's where it gets a little crazy. I think it makes a lot of sense. And let's say Singularity drives this mech back to the map to fight the Cattus one last time, and she's right on time, and she arrives right at the live event and she's ready to go. That would explain why Paradigm has taken so long to get here. Bravo, Ms. Arc. You get a gold star. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the video. If you could do me a quick favor though and drop a like on this video if you've enjoyed it up to this point, I would really appreciate it. We've been seeing a lot of new faces around here lately, and it's been just awesome to see. Help the YouTube gods and the YouTube algorithm do its magic, do its job, and help our little old community continue to grow. Next up, we have Boom Iconic, who says, I think the Seven may win, but I also believe that the IO is hiding something and will take full control and keep the loop going, maybe even imprisoning some members of the Seven. So this is very similar to what we've discussed in the last video or two, except this adds the element of the IO taking full control, keeping the loop going, and imprisoning some members of the Seven. If they keep the loop going, they would want to make sure that the guys who are trying to stop them can't do it anymore. Here to tie into our recent discussions on the Origin, once again, is Dark Lord, who quotes a line of the Origin's anthem and then says, I don't believe this for a second. How stupid would he have to be the literal king of the cubes and not realize their power of evilness? Like, I would think if you're in charge, you'd have to be pretty aware of what your subjects are capable of. In which Train followed up and said, some rulers are fools. It's a lot easier than you think to be fooled by your own subjects. And what if the queen and the king had different motives? The queen could have tricked the king. If we're worried about him being a threat, I highly doubt that they would have allowed him to be a member of the Seven if they didn't have a reason to trust him. Great discussion there, guys. To touch on that last point a little bit about the Origin possibly betraying us, of course, I'm sure the Seven screened him thoroughly and vetted him and made sure that he was going to be perfectly fine, not switching allegiances, and would pose no threat whatsoever of betrayal, because if the Seven thought clearly enough about their plan in advance, they would know that at some point they'd probably come into contact with the Cube Queen, the Last Reality, or anything like that, and he could be tempted. It's worth pointing out, though, that the Origin basically walked away from the Last Reality on his own free will. Unrelated but fitting for this moment, my guy Lego said in the Discord a little bit earlier, I believe the Cube Queen will return. No way she doesn't. There's been a lot of talk about the Cube Queen as of late. I mean, it makes sense because there's a lot of talking going on about the Origin being the Cube King and their connections. Now that we know there is an established pathway from the Chapter 2 to Chapter 3 island through the middle of the maps, and since the Cube Queen was last seen on that side of the map, I would agree with Lego. It's gonna be huge when we see the Cube Queen again and there's some encounter between her and the Origin. I can't wait to see it. I saw this really cool one over on Reddit, and it comes to you courtesy of For in Doubt 8362, who says, "My theory is that we are going to assault the fortress and command cavern from Tilted and take over both POIs and pushing the IO to Loot Lake where they activate the Doomsday device. But instead of it being like a destructive apocalyptic bomb, it's actually a portal that opens to the Star Wars universe, bringing in the Empire to help squash the Resistance. But something malfunctions with the device, causing it to explode and close the portal on a Star Destroyer, bringing the remains down on Loot Lake, and bam, the event ends." It's interesting because a while back there were definitely leaks about Star Wars being a confirmed thing for next season. Looks like Family Guy, Peter Griffin 2, and a lot of other different leaks as well. They've had major Star Wars events and things going on in the game in the past, so it wouldn't surprise me at all to see maybe a portal open up, Mr. Darth Vader coming out of the portal, him being like one of the main guys they've recruited to help. Or maybe Darth Vader will have no affiliation with either the IO or the 7, and it's unrelated, but worth pointing out. Train revised this theory from More Drippy in the Discord server, which basically just says the IO is playing a trap and leading the 7 into a trap. Of course, they're putting up no resistance. Of course, they should have better troops, and this happened once before in Season 7, and also that's why we can see descriptions like, "Can they hold the IO long enough?" Seems like everybody's pretty much on the same page, and in fact, a lot of these theories are starting out very much the same, with the IO drawing the 7 into a trap, and that's where the theories seem to differ. Like we went over in this video, some think the trap is the Doomsday device, some think the trap is the Cattus becoming reanimated, and I'm sure if you went and polled a whole bunch of people, there would be a whole bunch of different responses. That's it for today, but since you made it this far, what's the harm in watching one more? Click on the screen to subscribe or check out another epic video.